All right, good morning. Welcome, Faith. Good morning, Faith. You can hear me. Please confirm you can hear me. Good morning, Faith. Good morning, Melayo. Good morning, Sola. Good morning, Tolulope. Good morning, Victor. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, OGMD. Sorry, I'm not sure I pronounced that name well, but good morning. Good morning, Dussein. Good morning, Melayo. Good morning. Good morning, people. Good morning, Ademola. Good morning, Abiodun. Please confirm you can hear me. Good morning.
I can hear you.
Please, I'm sure you can hear me. Yeah, good morning. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. So welcome to today's webinar titled 2025 Outlook, Strategies for Success. So we are thrilled to have every one of you here as we take a deep dive into trends, opportunity, and challenges shaping the HR landscape in 2025. So this session has been designed to equip you with practical insights and actionable strategies to stay ahead of the curve in 2025. All right. So these are the objectives for this
Sorry,
webinar.
there's one
Looking
meeting
at
I joined. It's supposed to be HR Outlook for 2025. So I'm leaving as speaker in case there's anything interesting that comes out of it.
okay. All right, so this is our the objectives and insight into emerging HR trends, understanding the impact of global trends and local maps. So this is our objectives for the next 1 hour. So yeah, so these are our outline, those modules, what we'll be looking at. We'll be looking at trends, we're looking at the economic situation, artificial intelligence, workforce management, workforce
The network is cutting. Did it all say?
Please confirm. Please, so during the course of the opening, you'll be asked questions. So by then you can unmute and then take your question. So yes, today we have with us our facilitator today, Badimole, is a driven optimist with strong people management skills. He has over 8 years of experience in human resource. What is what doing is what's doing at all, is what doing well. So he has in the past worked as a human resource generalist at DNA Learning Solutions, facilitating and coordinating various training projects for organizations like Nigerian Ports Authority, Federal Airports Authority of Nigeria, Bank of Industry, and the likes. I'm sure when Wale comes in, he's going to introduce himself. All right, thank you.
Yeah, hello, Dayo. Thank you very much for that introduction. Please let's confirm that. Please confirm that you can hear me.
Yes, I can. Yes, I can hear
Okay,
you.
thank you very much. So good morning, everyone, and glad to have every one of us here. So before we go into our slide, I would like one or two people to just give me what their thoughts are about the HR space. I mean, the challenges that HR people faced in the course of this 2024, especially we here in Nigeria, based on so many factors. And then how are you approaching 2025? So I would appreciate just maybe a few people to give us their own thoughts about this before we go into the presentation of today. So anybody, you can mute your mic and speak to us if you are willing to share. Anybody, somebody? Okay, I think someone is unmuted. Chikwe Buka. Please, you can go ahead.
Sorry, I just joined. I didn't get the question correctly.
Okay,
So please
okay.
repeat.
Yeah, so okay, thank you. The question was that I would like to know your thoughts. I mean, as HR professionals, the challenges that we face in 2024, and then how are we approaching 2025? I think that's where is a good place to start. I mean, specific challenges as HR professionals in our different offices, and even some of us that might not be HR professionals, or maybe you're a manager, the specific challenges that you face regarding the people. And how are you looking at 2025? Are you scared of approaching 2025, or are you excited as, okay, let me try these new initiatives? And also, I would like to hear from us. Okay, I think Oluwashino Fasha King has unmuted his mic. Please go ahead.
That was a mistake. I just joined in. Apologies for that.
Oh, okay. All right, not a problem. Thank you. So, does anybody want to share with us? I'm still waiting. Anybody?
Okay. Yeah, let me just say something. All right.
Okay, please.
So one of the challenges I believe HR professional faced this year, basically, I think retaining talents. And it's a major one because we live in a VUCA world right now, and so many things are changing as a result of innovations, in advent of technology here and there. So it's really hard to hold on to talent, especially the this Gen Z demography. So it's a huge challenge. Then also, I think aside retaining talent, even getting the best fit is also an issue. Yeah, we know that the labor market is saturated, but still getting the right fit. We have a lot of people in the labor market, but there is this challenge getting the right fit. And then when you get them, how do you retain them? Would you be able to pay them what the competition is offering? These are challenges. And then we also have remote work, uh this year, virtually every interview I've had, you hear questions like, do I get to work from home? How many hours of work do I have to do in a day? I think it's going to get worse next year because um it's from some research I've done, it seems most Nigerian companies are not really embracing remote work for one reason or the other. But I think next year, organizations would have no choice but to embrace, at least hybrid work mode, and you know,
Okay.
so as not to stand a chance of losing talents. So I think high remote work, is going to be a huge thing next year.
Challenge for next year.
Yeah, it's definitely
Yeah.
going to be a huge challenge. I'm seeing it already, and if
Okay.
organizations are not proactive in that regard, they are definitely going to lose talents. That I'm sure of. So, I think these are more. I'll just let others also chip in. But yeah, these are the challenges
All
I
right.
think will cascade into the coming year. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Ibuka. Thank you. That was quite apt. And I remember there was a symposium I attended organized by GIZ and ILO. And one of the facilitators, the speakers, he asked a question. Are there really shortages of job in Nigeria? Everybody said, yeah, 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 yeah. Okay. He now asked HR people, HR people, can you raise up your hands? And I said, do you have roles that you have not filled? Everybody said, yes, we have plenty of roles we have not filled. Then I said, so what's the problem? We have so many a very high unemployment rate, and we also have very huge, we have gaps in almost a lot of organizations across the country, that there is a problem in that line. Just to buttress what Ebuka mentioned. Thank you very much. Do you have any other person that would like to maybe share maybe specific challenges in 2024, and then what you are looking out for, how you are approaching 2025 from the HR standpoint? Is there anybody that would like to,
Good morning, sir. Good morning, everyone.
Yeah, good morning. Good morning, Faith.
Yeah, my name is
Good morning.
Ginika. So I would like to add, right? I'm speaking from the management aspect of the HR, right? So I think from next year, HR managers should, or rather, re-strategize their management system, being that we have more of the Gen Zs, we have people that are more aware of their profession, what is going on in the world and in Nigeria, right? So I think if as HRs we need to stay ahead by re-strategizing our management system, and that is something that should begin with us as the managers before extending to the people we are expected to manage. I think that's what I just feel. Yeah, that's just it, sir.
All right. Thank you very much for that. And I agree with you. In past years, let's say in the 1990s, before you can know the trend, what is happening in the workplace, you have to probably get a newspaper, maybe this day, or get Harvard Business Review. But now on your X, formerly Twitter, someone will start tweeting there and telling you that in my own office, this is what we do. In my own office, what is this. So before you know, right there, you're already having, everybody's having information of what is happening in that person's workplace. So the information they get on Twitter, on TikTok, on all these platforms, they will go tomorrow and go and meet the HR. So why are we not doing this in our own office? I mean, but in those days, it wasn't like that. You have to rely on a structured, what do you call it, research institutes or research organization to get data. But now, data is everywhere on Twitter, on X, I mean, formerly Twitter, Instagram, and the likes. So thank you very much for that. Any other contribution before we dive straight into the slide for today? Any other contribution?
All right, good morning. Can I share my thoughts?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Thank you.
Yes, please.
Thank you very much. My name is Olubumi. I think I would just want to look at the balance point between the two speakers on the HR current situation right now and what we look forward to in 2025. So right now in the world of HR, we're busy looking at some important components that speaks to leaders and managers development. We're looking at promoting organizational cultures. We're looking at change management systems, and we're also looking at how do we use technology to streamline all HR operations and processes. So we want to take off from the first speaker that talks about retaining talent. So considering the ongoing war for talent, all right, and then let me now make it up with the current economic situation right now, in Nigeria, and everybody are in it together. So we know how much we are buying fuel, and which again has hype up the cost of transportation for all our employees. And the reason why people are moving up and down right now is because they are looking for more pay to actually meet up with their current economic status and all of that. And part of the challenges that personally me I face during recruitment is, when you look at your budgets and you look at what the expected salary from the applicant is, and you are trying to speak to your management again. One of the biggest challenges that I believe that most HR will be facing is how do you get management buy-in in all of this, your HR initiatives and all of that? How do your FDA CEO you see through your lens and support all the HR initiatives that are bringing on board to retain your top talent. So and society is a very big battle because I've had the opportunity to interface with some CEOs. I'm based in Abuja and I know what the current situation is right now. And again, looking at the aspect of culture. So how do we develop cultures that will align with the organizational objectives, and at the same time, we help you to, attract top talents, where your employee value propositions, while promoting your employer branding. So all of these things are big things that we're currently facing right now, and speaking to the first person. But then looking at 2025, we're looking at, the first talking about the issue of remote, and also I will introduce dynamic. But I want to see to the fact that most organizations are actually dealing with issue of coming back to office, and they believe that the era of COVID-19 is gone. Let's come back to office. Let's do everything we have to do within the office walls and all of that. So we're looking at how do we, as HR professionals, advise our management to look at dynamic work policy, or fully remote, to support our work balance initiatives, and at the same time to be able to manage compensation, because the truth of the matter is that whether I like it or not, there's some organization that within the space of 1 year they have to do salary review. Why? Because of the economic situation. So these are the biggest situations right now, and I think when I saw this opportunity, I said I really want to look at what 25 looks like, from Kimberly, right? And I'm so glad to be in this part of engagement. Thank you so much, and over to you.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Bumi. Thank you so much, Bumi. Okay, yes. I mean, just to buttress one of your points, there's a quote here from one man, Edward Lawler. He says the challenge for HR is to balance the need for consistency and fairness with the need for flexibility and adaptivity in a rapidly changing business environment. So balancing that's why HR people go through a lot of challenges. Everybody comes to HR when they have their challenges, but they can't imagine the challenges that HR go through every day, getting approvals, convincing management, and even convincing themselves that some things could be done. So that's why we are here today, to just briefly look at some of the aspects. Of course, this is not all encompassing. And just to mention as well, coming next year, Kimberly is planning we like call it like a breakfast or a meeting, general meeting, where we have top HR people in the room, and we all discuss some of these challenges, as opposed to this like just a short webinar. I will just be teaching, and then we'll be interacting in between. Okay, so let me quickly run because of time. So let's look at some of the trends. Of course, it's not exhaustive, but let's look at some of the trends in 2024. So we picked 5 areas, and we'll deal with those 5 areas, looking at the trends in 2024, and then looking at what can be done in these 5 areas in 2025. So the areas are negative economic situation, artificial intelligence, AI. I was expecting someone to talk about AI. Then workforce management, employee engagement, and job evaluation. So I will start with negative economic situation. I'm sure that if I give all of us room to speak for 5 minutes on economic situation, I know that we can speak for 1 hour on this, because it affects every one of us from the organizational point of view and even from individual point of view. So we all know the economic instability and uncertainty, especially in our own country, Nigeria, is a global trend, but our own seems to be a bit more difficult. And as you know, in terms of data, IMF, they rated the global inflation rate at 5.9%, while in Nigeria, according to Nigeria Bureau of Statistics, the inflation rate is 32.7% in September and 33.88% in October, while food inflation is 39.16%. But I know that we all here as Nigerians, I'm sure that if I ask you in terms of prices of things between last year and this year, I'm sure that if you want to use that to calculate the inflation, I'm sure it's going to be more than 200%, right? But of course, we also know the impact of the depreciating dollar naira too, which is affecting every aspect of the country. So another trend, again, still part of the economic negative economic situation in Nigeria as well. We have the rising unemployment rate in certain sectors. A lot of organizations have had to let go of employees, especially the manufacturing, and the lot of the FMCGs are going through a lot of challenges now. And the reason is because of, the rate of running a business now is unbelievable. So which has led to a high level of unemployment. Even service providers too are having challenges, because a lot of their customers are not having the money to pay for the services. So we have rising unemployment rates. And according to Nigeria Bureau of Statistics, the unemployment rate in Nigeria is 5.3% Q1 2024. But of course, you should know that this figure might not actually reflect the actual, because they did the rebasement last year. For those of us that are following the trend in unemployment rates, that's why before it was way higher than this, but they did what we call the basement. So they changed the the metrics that they used to measure. That's why you have 5.3 according to 2024. Another one is increased focus on cost reduction. Because of the economic outlook, there has been an increased focus on cost reduction. I was in a meeting, let's say meeting or a training earlier this week, and one of the participants was talking, and he said that he knows one of the biggest companies in Nigeria. When they held their management training across the country, they lodged them at a hotel, 220 of them per room in a hotel. That was last year. But this year, when they did it this year, they had to do what do you call it? They had to do virtual and hybrid. Well, it is a very large organization that are raking billions. But the reality of the country is telling on them they have to reduce costs. And according to McKinsey, 75% of companies target operational costs for reduction. So when people are thinking of reduction, they think of operational costs. And trust me, when they are looking at operational costs, McKinsey says here that nearly half of them focus on HR expenses. I mean, as HR professionals, you agree with me that once there's a challenge, the first place they come to is HR. And I can guess as well that the first aspect of HR that they first attack maybe some of the perks that you have brought up, some of your initiatives. Oh, let's go to the beach on Friday. Let's do TGIF. They're followed by training. Oh, you want to send people on training? Say, oh, can't they go and get ebooks, or can't they subscribe on the Coursera? And like, so I mean, this is just trends that we are seeing. It has been before now, but it's becoming more and more now. And also too, we have the shift in employees' expectation. I was having a meeting with some people earlier, like a few weeks ago, and I told them, I said, the salary you earn now is small, but do you know that when Nigeria 2 years ago, this your salary wasn't small. You will not complain if this was the salary you were earning 2 years ago. Well, 2 years ago, you were not earning the salary and you are comfortable. I said, but because of the economic situation, even the salary that you are earning, that used to look big in your eyes, right, is now looking so small. So as you will know, there's a shift in employee expectation. So, and most of those demands come to the table of the HR because you are the one that they expect to go and fight for them, to go and speak for them and all. Then go globally, for instance, according to McKinsey report again, it said real wages in many OECD, so these are European countries basically, countries dropped by 5% in 2022 due to inflation, prompting calls for significant increase. However, nominal wage growth has been slower. So let me just explain the difference between nominal wage and real wage. So nominal wage is defined as the actual amount that you get. So if I earn 200,000 naira per month, that's my nominal wage, right? But the real wage is when you now measure my nominal wage against inflation. So my 200,000 naira is 200,000 naira when it hits maybe my bank account, right? But by the time I use inflation against it, my 200,000 naira might mean 50,000 naira in the real sense of it because of the current inflation of things. So these are causing issues because management will tell you that they have increased salary this year already. Now, why are they coming back again? But the problem is that their nominal wage is increasing, but the real wage is reducing because of the economic situation of the country that we find ourselves. Then lastly, in this regard, we have the reduced investment in talent development. Like I mentioned earlier, a lot of organizations are cutting costs when it comes to talent development. People are not thinking of training because they say if you train them now, before you know, they will leave now. Then we have a statistics here from Institute of Fiscal Studies. Said since 2011, average employer investment in training per employee has declined by 19% in real terms. 19%. And I'm sure that this is a global statistics. I'm sure if it's Nigeria, it will be higher than 19. Inflation will be higher than 19%. So quickly, let's go to another trend in 2024, AI. This is one of my, let's say my best parts because I seem to be an advocate of AI, right? And one of the things that have happened is that AI adoption has had a, would I call it a two-way pattern. It has been high on one side and it has been very low on one side, right? In the global world, I attended a conference sometime, I think October or September, where can you mute your mic if you are not speaking, please? Because I think I'm getting feedback from someone. Sorry, I'm trying to figure out who it is. I'm not. Please help mute your mic in case you are not speaking, please.
Adetokunbo Ojo, can you please mute your microphones, please?
Okay. Please, Adetokunbo Ojo, please help us mute your mic. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. All right. So talk about. I attended the conference. It was a virtual conference anyway. The theme of the conference is AI in HR, right? And it occurred to me that a lot of the global organizations are already thinking of how do we infuse AI into our processes. And I was thinking about Nigerian companies that we are not even thinking about this. I mean, we are busy looking for ways to even, make people to, they have to work for the money that they earn. But the reality is that in the world of today, AI adoption has become a thing in big organizations and in so many European countries. They are looking for ways to really to empower people, their employees to adopt AI. But in Nigeria, the adoption is still very low due to so many things. Misconception is, I think, is number one. And I think one of it, I listened to the CEO of the company OpenAI, the company that owns ChatGPT, and he made mention of something. He said when people criticize AI, he laughs because that was the same way they criticized calculators. When calculators just came to being, people were saying, "Oh, it will make people lazy." But today we all use calculators, and he made mention of something. He said calculators have not made us lazier; it has only made us to solve more difficult problems. And he occurred to me that, oh, so he now said something. He said that AI will make us smarter because the kind of mundane things that we are doing now, AI will do them, which will make us as humans. We will evolve and start looking for more difficult things to solve, and it will enhance our thinking. So adoption of AI in talent acquisition, it's a trend, but like I said, in Nigeria, it's still quite low because of, like I said, maybe orientation, the cost of technology as well. Then we also have slow integration of AI as well. There was a survey done by Salesforce, and they said that over half of the users of generative AI, that's talking about ChatGPT and the likes, they said that over half of the employees that are using it said that the employers are not aware that they are using it. And I laughed when I saw it, which is the truth. That a lot of our employees are already using it, but they are scared of telling us because they feel if they tell their Oga will feel like they are lazy. So but they have been using it. Right? So whether we like it or not, it's a trend that is going that we have to now look for a responsible way to guide our employees to utilize AI as opposed to telling them no. Because what will happen at the end of the day is that an employee will do a task that is supposed to be used to do for 3 days, he will do it in 30 minutes. But we intentionally delay submitting that request until the third day because he doesn't want you to feel like he didn't do anything. But at the end of the day, if you know, and he submitted what he used to do for 3 days, he submits it in 30 minutes, you can give him some other task. But because he's scared of what the manager would say or what the HR would say, because the HR is not even aware of these tools, that this is even possible, they will rather delay the work and then they delay your process. And you cannot control what your competitors are doing. They are already adopting these things and they are getting the work done faster. Then also in terms of AI, we have AI in workforce analytics as well. I mean, AI is being used in so many aspects now to determine so many things, especially when it comes to HR. Predictive analysis to support better decision making when you have your data. Then, of course, we have the ethical and regulatory challenges as well. AI has come with its own one particular challenge. And one of the challenges is the ethical use of it. How do you ensure that a student that is doing his final year project is not just using AI and is not thinking? So there are different conversations that have been happening. There are in different countries across the world. They're already putting up regulations to guide their bots. Well, Nigeria, I'm not sure we are yet really doing anything concerning it, but globally, and that's why it's also important that we ensure that we are following global trends. There are these places that I used to read my articles from. You can also try. McKinsey is one of the biggest tools that I have found, right? They have their app, and there are so many other apps. In fact, most of the big fours, they have apps, and I have all the apps on my phone because I try to follow the trends, what's happening globally, so that I'm not left with what is happening in Nigeria, right? So it's important that we follow the trends and things that are happening globally. Then, of course, upskilling for AI integration as well. These are things that then workforce management quickly. What are the trends? We have rise in hybrid and flexible work mode, like one of the speakers earlier mentioned. That this is a trend. It has been a trend since 2020, but now it's growing the more. I don't know if you've ever asked a fresh graduate before recently and asked him, what kind of work are you looking for? I can tell you that 90% of the fresh graduates you will ask that what kind of work, they will tell you they want remote. I can bet you because I've done it. I mean, across board in church, in places where I've asked them, well, what are you looking at? I'm looking for a work that is remote. And I'm looking at, when I was starting my career, I was not thinking of, because the remote was not in vogue. It's not even unbelievable, unthinkable that you can work remotely when I just started my career. But that is the trend that is happening, and it's putting a lot of pressure on us as HR. And the hybrid has come with its own challenges. One of the biggest challenges, how do you measure performance? But that has been one of the biggest challenges with hybrid work mode or working from home or remote work, as we call it. How do you measure what do you call it now, performance in that regard? Then quickly, in terms of workforce management, we have talent talent shortage and retention issues, which has been mentioned earlier by people that spoke earlier, that a lot of organizations, a lot of sectors are going through a lot of challenges in terms of talent shortage. We have a lot of graduates out there looking for jobs, but in terms of real talent, that's people that can get the job done, we seem to have very few. Or maybe we are the ones not looking, maybe looking deep enough. Well, we'll discuss that later. Then also to automation and workforce restructuring, right? These are part of the trends that have happened in terms of workforce management. A lot of automation are having to take place. A lot of us are having to automate some of our processes so that we lessen the burden on some individuals, right? And these are part of the trends. And of course, workforce restructuring. We're having cases of people doing more than one task now. Oh, I was employed as an admin, but now I'm also the HR officer. Oh, I'm also the logistics officer. I mean, these are trends that we've seen in this last year. Then, of course, focus on well-being and burnout. A lot of organizations are starting to look at well-being. They are starting to actually look at it as, okay, what can we do in terms of employee well-being and to prevent burnout for our employees? And it's something that is a work in progress. Then local trends as well. We have the brain drain, which we all know, we are familiar with Japa syndrome, like we call it. Then the economic constraints, because the economy is having a bad effect on organizations as well. Not like they are making so much money, but employees expect them to take care of everything. Then underutilization of HR technology. In Nigeria here, we don't really use technology, both HR and even technology. We actually use technology. I was having a conversation with my colleagues one day, and we were discussing that how come as popular as some of these HRIS platforms are, come the adoption is still very low in Nigeria, where despite the amount of effort that they are putting in. I mean, it shows in terms of culturally, we are more in tune to the way we do things, right? So it's part of it as well, underutilization of HR processes in terms of workforce management. Then in terms of employee engagement, the trends that we can see, drop in engagement level. Yes, I mean, this is obvious. In Nigeria, due to the economic situation, we have a lot of that. Then we have stress and burnout. People that are working are being overworked. And I mean, someone that has a family to feed at home, that the salary has already finished halfway to the month, you expect that person to be stressed and burnout. Then quiet quitting. People are, they are getting disengaged. They are still working with you, but you see that they are not performing again because they are silently looking for another job. And even before they get out of that job, they've already left your job, even though they are still there, they are still collecting your salary. Then we have a very critical challenge, multi-generational workforce challenge. In a training I was last week, we were looking at something and we looked at what are the generations in the workplace now. And we did an analysis and realized that we have very interesting dynamics, right? And that puts a lot of pressure on us because the way a generation does things is a bit different from how this other generation does their own. So how do we marry this? How do we manage it, especially as HR professionals? Because at the end of the day, the buck stops on our desk, right? So multi-generational workforce challenges. This is a challenge that we are currently facing. Someone mentioned earlier, I think Ebuka mentioned earlier, he mentioned Gen Z. I know a lot of us have used Gen Z. But in the training that I attended last week, that wasn't last week, one of the participants mentioned something that all of us need to go and ask for forgiveness. So that we have demeaned people. Once you see a young person coming to the workplace, we already call it a Gen Z. They are not serious people. But the reality is that they just think differently, and we have to all find a way to adjust and adapt. So the last part of this trend is the job evaluation. So for this, there is a bit of shift towards skill-based job designs. There was a report I was reading earlier this year. I don't know, I think McKinsey or KPMG Insight, one of the platforms. And they were mentioning something. The writer of the report rather, mentioned that as we move along the line, there will be a lot more emphasis on skill-based jobs as opposed to supervisory-based jobs. And I was wondering what the fellow was trying to say. And he was saying that a lot of jobs will have to be reevaluated because a lot of the processes are being automated and the level of supervision we have to reduce. Because when you have strong automation, the level of checking with people will reduce. Because when you have automation, like using computers, using AI tools, you will know who is working and who is not working. So the level of your processes are also optimized. So he now mentioned that there is a shift towards skill-based job designs. So people that are just supervising without really having technical skills, they will easily be eased off at the world of work in the coming years. So these are part of the trends. Then, of course, increase automation in job analysis as well. And We have focus on pay equity. Yeah, this is becoming a thing now. In terms of job evaluation, people are saying that, why am I being paid less than this person? After all, I'm working more than this person. Those questions are arising at a rate that we never imagined, right? Because, like I said, the world of information has been democratized now, which means you don't have to read an HBR, that's Harvard Business Review, to know what is happening in one industry. Just go on Twitter, or X rather, and you will just see the trend. Someone is posting about what is happening in his company. You can pick there and go and fight in your company. Why are they paying people in First Bank this amount and they are paying us as also bank this amount, right? So focus on pay equity. Then we have the demand for role customization. Gone are the days where we just have genetic. Oh, what roles do you have in your operations department? We have this and this. Now we have to really customize the roles to suit us. Why? Because the economic situation of Nigeria, for example, is tough. So what works in a particular, for example, now in a particular organization, maybe your competitors, they might have two different people doing a particular job, right? But for you in your own organization, because of the economic situation, you might have one person doing that, right? So you have to customize that role. You have to customize the job description for that role. You can't just go generic and just go and copy a job description of. You have to look for a way to meet your, so that you can manage costs and also optimize the performance of the people that are doing the job. So quickly, let's go to the solutions and addressing the negative economic impact. And quickly, I will ask us questions and then we'll close out from there. So quickly, addressing the negative economic impact. These are some of the things that we are looking at. Focus on financial wellness and compensation adjustments. We feel that at this point, it's very important that we put more structure into our compensation, right? As opposed to just reacting. What we've done, or not intentionally, because nobody knew that petrol price will get to 1,050 naira or 1,100 or something, or that dollar will ever get to 1,950. How much is it now, right? But the reality is that a lot this year, we all had to quickly adjust. We were reacting to the reality of the economy, but we already know the way the economy outlook is, likely this trend will continue in 2025. We pray it doesn't, but I mean, with what we can see, we don't see the government changing their course. So we have to now be intentional. From 2024, we have to start planning for 2025. That what if the fuel gets to 2,000 naira? What do we do? Do we keep increasing salary, or do we look for different ways? There was a term that came up that was around 2021, 2022, cost of living adjustment. We all know COLA. It was a new term that some people have to just come up with. Say, okay, we cannot increase salary, but we can give COLA to just cushion the effect of the economy, right? So we have to come up with more creative ways to do it. Does it mean that rather than increasing salary, you'll be paying like a general bonus? Is that what it means? Sorry, someone is saying, okay. Okay, someone is saying that, oh, sorry, Monisola, can you hear me? Okay, I'm saying, okay, it's an AI note, sorry. Okay, I was saying a message in the chat box, right? So that explains that there's need for start thinking. So let me give you an example now. If the salary of an employee is 200,000, and you know that you are supposed to increase the salary, maybe you are thinking of increasing the salary to 300,000, and you know that when you calculate that at the end of the year, that's 100,000, maybe in net now, not gross. That's 100,000 naira per month times 12. That's 1.2 million naira additional. I mean, there are other ways to go about it. You can now say, okay, rather than me doing that, we can now say, okay, can I be, instead of 1.2 million, can I be paying this employee 250,000 naira, like I will call it quarterly performance or something now, right? 250,000 naira. When I pay him 250,000 naira a month, if I do it for per quarter rather, for 4 quarters, it's 1 million naira. I've already saved 200,000 naira, right? Then because I'm paying it as more like a bonus, I'm not going to pay a year on it. I'm not going to pay pension on it, right? Pension contribution on it. The best I can do is to maybe do like a withholding tax on it, right? If you look at that now, that has a lot of money, right? So that's part of what we have to do. How do we adjust our compensation to ensure that it helps us and we are not running into debt? Then secondly, we also have investing in upskilling and reskilling. This is not a time for us to say, yeah, get out, go. This is a time for us to not look at it again. That okay, this employee that is not performing here, is there any other place where he can perform? Because trust me, if you are going to hire someone new for every position that everybody that you let go, we are going to pay higher. That's the truth, right? You are going to pay higher. because the way the work, all the work is now, as people are leaving and they are going to a new organization, they are telling you that they want more. And you can't blame them because of the economic situation. So you have to really invest in upskilling and reskilling. And that's by partnering with organizations, I mean, to subsidize training. And there was something that I realized that a lot of organizations don't even know about ITF, that ITF has been set up, I mean, in a way that is very interesting, that the government actually pays back 50% of the money you spend on training. A lot of organizations don't even know this, right? A lot of us don't pay our ITF 1% of our gross monthly. We don't remit our ITF. If you remit your ITF monthly, you will stand a chance of collecting back 50% of all the training costs that you acquire in the course of the year on your employees, right? So these are part of the things that government has put in place and what we should also look at taking advantage of. And of course, another one is also encourage your employees to attend seminars and conferences. It's not every time that you will be able to pay for a 200,000 naira training, right? But what we can invest in is ensure looking for those conferences for them and giving them the taxi fare or the boat or the Uber fare to those conferences and let them go and learn there as well. Because in that way, they are getting more exposed. Another one is also to gamifying the learning. I went for an L&D conference recently, and one of the speakers explained gamification to us. And he put in a very interesting way that I didn't think about it that way before. I used to think of gamification as game. But what he did was that he said in his organization, they have what they call, so for every of the things that they want people to do, they create a leaders board, right? So the leaders board, there will be reward for those that perform well in the leaders board. So in terms of upskilling and reskilling, you can have a leaders board, number of articles per month, number of trainings per week, blah, 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 blah. So as people are feeling it and you are creating a structure around it, anybody that gets the highest at the end of the quarter, you give that person something. In that way, people are encouraged to upskill because they know there's something waiting for them there. So that we are not quickly looking at outside, we are looking at the skills that we have internally, and we are seeing how we can upskill people and reskill them for the current situation that we find ourselves. Then, of course, prioritizing employee retention over recruitment. I've said this before, cost of recruitment is expensive. Even if you are doing it locally by yourself or you are engaging a recruitment organization, it's expensive, right? So it's important that you prioritize retention as of over recruitment. So someone is not good, someone is not bad. You have to do a proper job appraisal, proper performance appraisal to really identify the challenges. One of the things I've discovered with us at HR sometimes is that even when we are talking to employees about their performance, we ourselves are not able to really identify the performance gap. And that comes from one thing. When we are setting the KPI or any of the tools that we are using to set the performance expectation, right? We probably didn't do a good job. Or when we are doing the appraisal, we didn't do a good job, or we didn't we like to give the managers proper orientation to be able to know how to really conduct a performance review. A lot of managers don't know how to conduct performance review. The fact that someone has been working for 30 years doesn't mean he can conduct a performance review properly. The onus is on us as HR people to what? To educate them on how to do it without bias. Then also to leverage this as well, we have adopting workforce model to economic reality, right? Looking at use of freelancers for some of the jobs that we have full-time employees for now. Thinking of getting freelancers, tapping into the gig economy. People that will do 3 months contract for you and then they are out, as opposed to employing someone where you have to pay the pension, pay the ITF, pay the NSITF, and pay the payee as well. Then leveraging technology for efficiency, use of AI and automation to streamline HR processes and the likes. Then, we have strengthening of communication and transparency. It's very important. Like someone mentioned earlier, that the employees we have here today now, they are aware. So you have to make sure that you are as transparent as possible. Trust me, in those days, nobody cares to really know what the company is making. But trust me, the employees of today, they are asking questions. Because don't forget, they have a friend that works in accounting or in finance department who have access to some of those data. You'll be surprised that the data that you use to hide, I think is just for the board. Your employees have them now. Because they have one of the young ones that is working in accounting, who is seeing all the figures, who is telling them who they are having meetings. So you have to be as transparent as possible. So when you are telling them that there's no money, and you are booking, the managers are booking you are booking first class to London at maybe 5 million. They are seeing it. So these are part of the things that you have to strengthen your communication and transparency. Then, of course, government and industry partnership. Partnerships are very important. for those of us that don't belong to organizations, associations in our industries, please, this is the right time for us to start considering that, because it helps us to stay to be up to date with trends, and this is very important. Then welfare packages for employees like HMOs and the likes. I know a lot of us are doing that, so please let's encourage people, and of course also enlightening the employees on things like NHF. As we all know as HR, that NHF is not a statutory anymore, but it's still a scheme that is still ongoing, and now it has been increased. I think 5% of your gross now, unlike before that was 5% of your basic. So it's a trend that is ongoing, and of course they also said now that your pension can also be used as a did I say collateral? This is for the right word now. Collateral for collect housing loan. For those of us that don't know, once your pension is up to 5 million, you can walk up to NHF and you can use it as to get a housing fund, to have access to housing fund. Is your pension now. That was signed last year. So this is part of the things we have to let our employees know, that they can things that they can access to. So quickly, leveraging AI in HR. Like I said, I'm a very big advocate of AI rather, and I believe that we have to quickly just adapt to this. And one of the things is promoting cost-effective AI solutions. It's very important. They are free ones. It's not everything that is expensive. It's about learning how to use the prompts, right? Learning what to tell the AI to get information, because it will make, whether we like it or not, the world is changing. And a time is coming, like someone said, that AI would actually be part of the processes and hiring requirements for organizations. One of the conferences I attended, they mentioned it there. One guy said that now, in the next 2 years, they are envisaging that when they are putting the criteria, they will tell you that use of AI prompt as part of the expectations for employees. So we as HR people, we are expected going to 2025, how can we help them, right? Help employees to bridge the gap in terms of AI solutions. The AI is not just, so that even the employees are already using it, they are able to come out and tell you that, yes, we are using it. So you're able to guide them so that they don't put you and your organization in trouble, right? So it's important that we ourselves should be the leaders of AI adoption in organizations. We should not push AI adoption to the tech team of our organizations, because when the problem comes, it has to do with skills, it has to do with delivery, and the problem will fall on us as HR people. So the adoption of HR should be championed by HR people in the workplace, not the tech team, right? So we ourselves have to make sure that we even know what is at stake, what HR tool can be used in our AI, sorry, what AI tool rather can be used in our space. Then of course, it's also on us to also stay up to date with the global trends in AI rather. Because a lot of countries now are putting regulations in place now, a lot of sectors are putting regulations, so we also know the kind of regulations that are being put in place. I read a report recently, a news recently of one of the VCs or of one of the federal institutions in Nigeria that said that the students who desist from using AI for projects. Just laughed. That's how they said when I was writing my own project. They said, don't use Google, don't use the AI, you have to go to the library. Well, at the end of the day, all of us know how we did our project, right? So it's something that is a trend that is going on, and that will continue the way we are seeing it as well. So leveraging AI in HR and even in the workplace should be on the table of the HR professional. Then workforce management, quickly, invest in employee well-being. So invest in employee well-being. I've mentioned that as well, stress management and the likes. Then leverage on data and predictive analysis. As HR people, it's very important that we use data. We pay mouth service to this a lot. Oh yes, we manage the trend, but we have to intentionally be managing this trend. And I can also tell you that AI will help you to achieve this, right? If you don't have the time, all you need to do, upload your data and send a prompt. That okay, how can I you can just prompt AI to to just help you to analyze some of these. Things are changing, so that we are able to back our claims with I need someone is speaking, please. Can you, I think Elsie, can you please mute your mic? I think the feedback is coming from you, please. Thank you. So this is very important for us. So you can use AI for data analysis, right? There are so many AI tools. You can even start with the simple ones like ChatGPT, like Gemini, like Grok. That's the one for XAI. I mean, there are so many of them like that, so that you're able to get enough analysis and be able to talk to management. Then promote internal talent development. Yes, we have to do the. I know a lot of us are already doing this, talking about mentorship, but mentorship that we do is not structured. What we need to do going forward is structured mentorship, so that our level of recruitment is reduced, but our level of retention is higher. and we are not easily pushing people out. Then optimizing workforce structure, looking at your workforce structure again and adjusting it to the current reality. Then also tackling of the brain drain, say enhance retention strategy. I agree with you that it might be difficult for someone that you are paying a certain amount now and has an opportunity to go to maybe to the UK with his family, telling him to stay, but he will not even listen to you. But there are so many things that you can still do to manage this as well, so that it doesn't become a problem. Doesn't affect your operations. So we have to come up with different, depending on your industry. There's no one size fits all. So depending on your industry, we should be able to look for ways. So sometimes it's compensation, but it's not always compensation every time. Sometimes it's taking off burdens from people. If you are working in a large organization, you can consider paying school fees, right? As opposed to increasing that. If you consider the cost of increasing salary and of increasing school fees, it might not be, it might just be school fee of one time in a session. You'll be surprised at how important that person will take it. Like I mentioned earlier, in terms of salary payment, it might just be a quarterly bonus that you'll be paying that would have made up for even you increasing the salary. There are so many ways as well. Personalized incentives as well and the likes. Then lastly, revitalizing employee engagement. So quickly, this talks about career development, helping employees to develop their career. Recognition and reward is very important. A lot of us don't take this serious. What we do basically is just salary increment. Especially the high flyers, they want to be recognized, they want to be rewarded. So it's very important that we take this serious going to the new year. Then work-life balance. We don't even have a choice, whether you like it or not. The people that are entering the workplace now, whether you like it or not, you have to consider their work-life balance, because every day you'll be hearing mental health, you'll be hearing so many things. Right? So you don't have a choice. Going to new year, we have to really, really take this serious and stop paying lip service to this. Then lastly here, we have effective communication. Like I said, increasing transparency, having town hall. A lot of us, for big organizations, we're expected to have town hall meetings, regular meetings with people, checking on people, trying to feel their pulse and the likes. Then of course, sorry, please. Excuse me, please. Then promoting of working on your culture. A lot of big organizations are doing it, but I think small organizations can also adopt it. Also checking your pulse, doing the culture pulse survey, trying to even identify the culture in your organization, so that it's not that at every junction you are reacting, that there is a way of life that people live in the organization. Then we also have the technology integration. I've talked about AI, but there are so many other technologies that we can also integrate. Okay, then redefining, this is the last part, redefining as job evaluation. That's strategy for job evaluation. Then adjust structured job evaluation frameworks. I've mentioned this before. We have to measure our jobs again, right? A lot of us, when we go to the organization, the JDs, the job street, everything has been there since maybe like 15 years ago. We have to ask the right questions now, right? Are this what these people are expected to be doing? Has this role changed? For example, now a finance manager 20 years ago, is it still the same role that is still playing in the organizations now? Or has the role changed? Then as HR, we can guide on how do we evaluate these jobs? How do we ensure that the people that actually we are paying salary every month, they are doing what they should be doing? Or do we need to even optimize their jobs so that you don't have people that are overworked while you have some people that are not even doing anything within the organization? So job evaluation across departments is very important for 2025, and this is a very good time for us to start working towards that. For job evaluation, just like every other, you can adopt AI. I've given you like a tip. Now, I remember I had a conversation with one of my team members, and I was encouraging them to use AI. One of them said, it's as if you are writing an exam and the manager is telling you, okay, someone said I'm talking too fast. Oh, so sorry about that. I speak quite fast. Okay, I'll go back to culture strategy. So sorry about that, please. So let me just land on this job evaluation. So I was saying that I was speaking to my colleague and I was telling her that all of them that they should start thinking of using someone said they agree. Wow, so sorry. You should have told me earlier. I would have calmed down a little. Sorry, there is fire in my bones. So, and she mentioned it, she made a statement. She said that yeah, this one that our guy is telling us to use AI. It's as if a lecturer is telling you that you should be cheating when you are writing exam. I said, no, it's not cheating. It is what it is. So as HR people, you can leverage ChatGPT, even if it's just ChatGPT for your job evaluation. Just upload your JD on the ChatGPT and ask it to evaluate the job. And then you can now prompt it on the things that you would like to see or the actual task that is expected of them. Then you're surprised that ChatGPT will be able to weigh it. There are other tools that you can use, but that's a simple and free tool that I believe every one of us have access to. And even for job audit as well, you can adopt AI to do that as well. So someone said I should go back to the culture, I believe. Sorry, let me just quickly so that I don't. Okay, so I talked about rebuilding culture. So I talked about culture survey. And it's very important that you conduct a culture survey. I mean, you can reach out to experts like Kimberly Ryan. We currently have a project with one of our clients talking about defining their culture and all. So you have to do culture survey because a lot of times organizations carry the culture of the owner of the business, especially for one-man business, right? Or in some other cases, a new employee will come into your organization and we just bring the culture that he or she is bringing from where they are coming from and just change the dynamics of the organization. So it's very important that you have to think about the culture of your organization. So first thing first is to do a survey. There are practice online. There are ways to do it on their, what do I put it now? There are samples online, or you can reach out to Kimberly Ryan. They will run it for you. We run this kind of survey for you at a price that is not too, too big. There's someone is asking about DEI, that's diversity.
That they've been asking for drivers inside their.
Sorry, Gladys, you are okay. Okay. Yeah. So someone asked a question on the group chat now about DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion. Yes, even in Nigeria, this is a thing, right? But you have to also agree that Nigeria is a very dynamic country, right? We don't have regulations guiding this. So that's why it's a bit difficult, right? But from where we stand as HR people, it's important that we take it up within ourselves to ensure. And the major thing one of the things that you gain from having DEI is the fact that you have opinions from different angles. I know we have the case of nepotism in Nigeria, people employing those that are from their village, those that are from their towns. I know we have those challenges that you might not really be able to do much. But from your standpoint, the kind of advisory that we give as HR matters a lot. And I think it's something that we should think of. So from our own side, from the national point of view, you and I might not really be able to do much, but from our organization point of view, we can be intentional. First of all, do an analysis. Why are you even thinking of DEI? So if I do an analysis, for example, now, I can realize, I might say, oh, according to our data, we realize that all our employees seem to be thinking in this way. So we need employees that think this way, right? So that would inform your recruitment process. That will inform your engagement process. That will inform the kind of trainings you send your employees to. So when you talk about DEI, it's not only about religion or gender. It talks about a lot of things, a lot of the thought process of the people in the organization, the kind of people in the organization, the background of the people. Are they all engineering background? Do we need some people that have legal background? I mean, it's quite vast, but you have to first do your analysis. It's almost time, so let me just. Then, of course, focus on pay equity as well. We've addressed that earlier. Then tailor roles to employee strength. We have to start readjusting. Like I said, we have to do proper job analysis and job evaluation then to be able to tailor the JD for employees to their strength as well. Of course, that doesn't mean that we'll now do it at the detriment of the organization. Then conduct regular job analysis, right? Regular. So it's an ongoing thing. It's not only at the point where the person is coming in. Regularly, you are checking the job analysis for the employees from time to time. All right. So I think I have to stop here. And indeed, we have come to the end of it rather. So thank you very much for listening in. I'm so sorry for those that gave the feedback that I was speaking too fast. So sorry about that. I didn't realize earlier. I wish someone has brought it up earlier in the chat box. I would have adjusted. So sorry about that. So do we have any question shortly before we close, or any comments from any of? I know we've said so many things. We'll still share this slide with you so that you'll be able to have access to it, and then you will still be able to reach out to us after this session as well if you have specific questions about this presentation today. And on the chat box, my colleague has already dropped some links. Please let's check the chat box. I think the survey link or so. I think she has dropped it. Tolu has already dropped it on the chat box. So do we have comments or questions, please?
Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. Ebenezer, good morning.
This is Ebenezer. I just want to ask a question regarding the hiring process of HRs. So, during interview process, what if someone does not have the ability to actually communicate himself, but has the skill and talent for that particular JD?
Okay.
So,
Okay. So Yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
that is my
that's the
question.
question, right? Okay,
Yes.
so I think it first comes from even before we start hiring, have we done our own proper job on identifying the competencies for that job, right? For example, if you are hiring an engineer, for example, now, the kind of tests or recruitment process that engineer will go through might not necessarily be the same as a broadcaster, right? Or as someone that is an editorial, maybe manager in a newspaper company, right? So that's why when we come to recruitment, we should not have a one-size-fits-all recruitment process. We should tailor our recruitment process based on the job that we are bringing people on board for. So for someone that can't speak, and you know that maybe in terms of competencies, speaking is little in terms of the kind of level of competency that you really need for that particular role, then you might think of other means of evaluation, right? And then
Okay.
you can now let me say the structure in terms of interview structure now, right? I can say case study, people that do their case study and send, not presentation now, just send it to us via mail, or maybe we can give them maybe 20% of the recruitment process. The structured interview where we have 4 people interviewing the person, give it 10%. Then demonstration of the skills required, maybe them actually practicing, giving them the tools and let them put the tools together. You can give it 50%, right? So that in that way, you're able to capture all the necessary data and you are not doing a one-size-fits-all. But the moment we start using a one size, which is what most of us do, a one-size-fits-all recruitment process, there's no way we will not lose out on some good candidates. I don't know if that answers your question.
Yes, it does. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much. I don't know if there's any other one because it's past our time. Any other comments or question? Maybe just one more before we call it a day.
Okay, hi,
Anybody?
good afternoon.
Someone? Okay.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Olachi. Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon. Okay, thank you. Very nice session, interesting session, right? Thank you for the insight you provided as well. I don't know if you can ask questions out. If I can ask a question
Oh, please
outside
go
of
ahead.
what was discussed. Okay,
Oh, yes,
so
you
I
can.
had
You
this.
can.
Okay, okay. So I had a conversation with my colleague, and I couldn't get a balance. So it's to ask between contract of employment and labor law, right? So, case in point, labor law says there's a labor law that says, oh, you can't what do you call it notice period notice period shouldn't exceed. I've forgotten how they said it's calculated based on your length of stay or so. Thereabout, I'm
Yeah.
not very clear about it, but some
Yes.
organizations would give. So, say for senior managers, they'll say you would have to give 3 months notice period
3 months. Yeah.
because of the level, right? And then there's this argument to say, oh, labor law is saying this, and then we are acting this. Are we not going against labor law? So there is conversation around between, even if the matter gets to industrial court, that the contract supersedes labor law. And then we kept
Yeah.
arguing, and I said, okay, you know what? I'll take it to wherever HR forum I am, and just to get clarity as which one takes precedence. Is it the labor law or the contract of employment? Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. That's a very practical question. I think the first thing is I'll pick it from the legal point of view. The contract takes precedence, it takes supersedes the law. That's the contract that the person has signed to. Although where the challenge come from is the case of what's the word now? Like in terms of justice, right? So in the basic way to answer this question, the contract speaks more, like supersedes whatever it is in the law, because the contract is what the person are penned to, right? But then when investigation is being done, questions will be asked. Was the person coerced to sign this? Was the person aware of this, right? Those are part of the challenge that people have when you go, if you read those cases of those industrial court cases, you read it, that the question is not whether the labor law says this and you are doing this. The question is the situations around the signing of that contract. Was the person signed, was it under duress? Or was it that you changed the policy after the person has come into the company? Was the person aware of it? Was it properly communicated? But on the basics, right, contract supersedes what is in the law when it comes to contracting. Yes, from the legal point of view. But like I said, you have to also ensure that the other sides of it, you are not faulty. The person is not coerced. The person was not forced. There's no communication where the person was insulted for asking for his or her rights. For asking questions, which is his or her rights. So those are the challenges where we might face challenges if we go to industrial courts. But in terms of what is legal, the contract supersedes the labor law. Yeah. I don't know if that answers your question.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Thank you very
All
much.
right. Thank you very much. All right. I think we've
Okay,
exhausted our
so
time.
can I just let my
Okay, yes,
thoughts
please go ahead.
around? Yes, so thank you very
Please go
much.
ahead, sir.
And
Yes.
all right, yes, so thank you very much. And it's not far different from what you've said. You know, it's just because I've been opportune to appear at National Industrial Court twice, and I've been able to learn from all of this. So what I would just advise to the person that asked the question, like you said, the contract is what you're going to be asking about, and again, your terms of service or your condition of service or what you call your employees handbook. So what the labor law is just there for is to guide you when you are drawing all of your HR policies, and we look at legal provisions in your HR policies to mirror, labor law clauses. So what does labor law say about paternity leaves, and are you sure you're not breaking the word of labor law? So the truth of the matter is that when it comes to all of these, there's what we call management prerogatives, and even in the labor law, there are a lot of things that are silent, that were not fully expressed. So, and that again gives, authority to the owner of the business, the employer. So it means that whatever you are doing, check the legal implications, and again, mark it up with what your contract of employment says, as well as your, HR policy or handbook speaks to. But then let it reflect, the labor law of the country. So the essence again is to ensure that you are meeting up with labor requirements of your country, and you are complying with all the labor demands and all of that. So thank you very much for opportunity to speak to this. Thank you.
Thank you so very much. Thank you so much, Mr. Bumi, for that. Okay, I think that's all we have for today. Please, let's check the chat box. The feedback form is there, and also our social media handles are there. Yes, sorry. Taiwo, you're saying something? Yes.
There's, I think there are 2 questions on the chat box.
Oh, okay, I didn't see them. Okay. 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 Someone asked, do we have an LMS? We have one in the works, right? But we've not yet launched out. Yes. Okay, I can see it now. Or Game D. Yes. We've not yet launched out, but we have one that is in the works. Yes. Okay. I think that's the only question. I've answered the other question. I think that's the only question that is here. Okay. Thank you very much, Taiwo, for bringing that to my notice.
There's
Thank you
something
so
about
much.
DEI.
Yes, I've answered that. I read it earlier when I was pre-speaking. I responded to that already.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you so much. All right. Thank you very much, everyone that joined us today. And we hope that next year will be great. And HR people would have small rest next year, because I know this year we didn't have much rest because of salary increments, because of complaints of employees coming late and throwing out of tantrums, right? But I believe that next year will be better. But one important thing that we can take home is that we have to be intentional about planning for the year. And part of what we've done here today has just been a way to just quickly, talk about some of the areas. It's not exhaustive, right? There are still so many other things. And for us as Kimberly Ryan, you can always reach out to us if you have specific questions about this kind of thing, and or for any of our services. You already know what we do. We recruit, we outsource, we do HR advisory, and we train as well. So you can reach out to us at any time. Thank you very much for today, and have a lovely rest of the day. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye, everyone.
It's for those of us that have not filled the survey. Let's fill it before we leave. It's in the chat box. Let's fill the survey form just before we leave. Thank you.